I love football.
Come on, son, let's get loud. Let's go, Dave.
Oh yeah, football. That's all he talks about most of the year is football.
Come on, son, let's get loud.
That's his life.
Stop them. Come on, Dave.
That's his whole thing, being the water boy for the football team. That's what he lives for from year to years.
Yeah! Yeah!
A water boy is someone who provides for the needs of the players in terms of getting things, not just water, but maybe getting equipment, relaying a message. So it's more than just delivering water to the players.
Come on, Dave. Let's go. Tyson.
What's the greatest thing about being a water boy?
Being around cheerleaders.
I think he's also served an important role as just kind of a cheerleader to the team. When he's not there, it's just not quite the same.
They get dehydrated. You get water boy to help them to be more powerful on a football field. Like this, right here. I feel this up.
I think what's amazing is the amount of time he's been able to do that, and that he's so well accepted by the players.
World's Best WaterBoy.
As I said before, he's a special kid.
Paul was born November 5th, 1985. We were lucky that the doctors picked up quickly that he had some difficulties.
My mom, she couldn't take care of me because she's a handicap.
He's an absolute clone of his mother. They act the same, they speak the same, they do the same kinds of things.
My dad, me, and my mom.
His mother and father lived with us for a while, and his father passed away. And she went into independent living, and we took Paul. By the time he was 18 months old, we had him in special schools. He learned sign language early, so that he was never really, frustrated in getting things that he wanted, because he could converse in sign language as well as kids his age could converse. And quite amazingly, every now and then, he will come up with an expression that his mother used. But you have to remember that he was not around her at all. Became an Eagle Scout. Now, of course, he had some difficulty in getting his Eagle because he couldn't write. So there was no way he could write a 100-word essay about something, but he could tell it to you. Every now and then, surprisingly, Paul will speak a complete sentence absolutely perfectly with no impediments whatsoever. And so you say, okay, whatever's disconnected got connected for an instant. He has great difficulty with math. He has great difficulty telling time. He can only use a digital watch consistently. He doesn't understand analog time. And he really doesn't know the difference between an hour and 5 hours. If you tell him that we're going to do something in 5 hours or 6 hours, in a half an hour he wants to know if it's time to go, because he has no concept of time. And yet mechanically, he's a genius. By the time he was 2 years old, he could run the televisions, he could run the VCRs. I mean, he could do all of those things without any difficulty. When I married his grandmother, he would have been 7.
Paul is my favorite, very favorite subject to talk about because of all he's accomplished. I got him when he was 7 years old. My husband and I, his grandpa and I, got married, and I immediately saw the potential in that little boy because I used to teach in special ed. And so the first thing I did is I went to a bedroom and I decorated it and wallpapered it and made new curtains and drapes and everything for him, got him a room. He responded to everything. I cleaned the table off, and we started eating at the table so I could teach him manners. Also, that's how I could teach him his words, because he did sign language for the first 5 years of his life.
And I was out on a trip, and she couldn't run the air conditioning in the house because it was rather complex. And I told her, well, ask Paul. He'll set it up for you, and he did.
When my grandma and grandpa first got married, he flew airplanes. He was a captain for United Airlines. Grandma called Grandpa up saying, we don't have milk, we don't have food. I need to go to the store, and I don't know how to work the AC or the TV. Grandpa said, Paul knows everything. And Grandma said to him, Paul know that? So she asked me, and I blackmailed her.
So I said, Paul, will you show Grandma how to go to the store? Uh-huh. Will you take me to Taco Bell? Yes, I will, after we get through the store. So we went out and got in the car, and he'd say, okay, back up, back up, back up, back up, until I backed up. Okay, turn this way, keep going, keep going, keep going. And he'd do that till the next turn. Okay, turn this way, keep going, keep going, keep going. And he took me down to Taco Bell. I said, no, we have to go to the store first. No, I show you the store after Taco Bell. So I had to buy Taco Bell first so he'd show me how to get to the store.
We were told that he would never be able to read, would not be able to write, and those kinds of things. And his grandmother said, it ain't gonna happen.
You've done all of these exactly right except for...
And so she got some little school books, and she would read to him and make him follow along, word by word.
It made you feel joyful all the time, watching him. And one of the biggest things was watching him learn, watching that little mind learn things. Take forever. You know, sometimes it would take a year to teach one little thing. But he would get it, and when he'd get it, his little eyes would just sparkle. He was so excited that he got it.
By the time he got out of high school, he could read a basic newspaper. Now he can pick up the sports page, for instance, and he can read and follow the things he wants.
It says, Janet Hansom, blow bubbles as... I'm used to looking at her picture without crying.
His mother passed away in 1998 as we were moving up to Utah.
Her and her friend was going to walk to Las Vegas from California, hiking. So she got sick, and she died dehydrated. She had about that much water, and she drank it all. My job is to give people lots of water, but sometimes they don't want it. Sometimes they are good without water for a while, and sometimes I can see them getting tired. When I see them get tired, I give them water.
When kids see him in the hall, you don't see him and say, oh, that kid's disabled. They don't look at him that way. And he was very popular. The kid was a popular kid. He wanted to be popular, so we wanted to put him out there. And that's when I went and talked to the football coach, and I said, hey, have you got a spot for this kid on the football team? And he says, yeah, bring him out. We'll put him to work.
As a head coach, you're always hoping people take care of business and do what they say they're going to do. And I can always count on Paul.
The students called him Bobby Boucher, which he loved, and he was really excited about the whole comparison. But you've never met anybody that's been more dedicated to the Tigers and Hurricane High School than Paul.
You can ask almost anyone in this town, and they know Paul.
You know, it's great for us. Great for him, but great for us, for sure.
Well, I have a lot of brothers who've come through the program, and he's known them all, and so he's like a brother to me. So.
He's pretty legit. He gets out there for us, and he's our biggest fan, and he's loud and enthusiastic. And just like he's one of us.
He even tells them when they do things wrong. But they love him so much, they take it and accept it. He even goes over to the coaches and says, Coach, you need to do this and this and this.
I don't know, he's almost a conscience for me. I mean, he's called me out a few times if I've said things I shouldn't have said. He has. He's like, we don't do that. And I guess that's part of his charm is He kind of has this honesty about him that's kind of disarming, and you're like, oh yeah, that's good, thanks.
Don't hero out on us. The time we struggle as a team is when guys do their own thing.
So I want to be a football player, so I can do the plays, so I can make touchdowns, so I can be a real football player. David Kimberly. He was living with us and went to school. Grandma said, he's your cousin. I call him my brother.
David was playing football for that high school, and we'd go to every game. His brother cousin gave him the letter he earned in high school, gave him his jersey, gave him his pads, his helmet and everything. He always wanted to be a part of football, and he loved it because he loved this brother cousin so much.
And what's he doing now?
I don't know. I lost track of him. He doesn't write back to us or nothing. He's living his whole life on his own. I miss my brother.
Come on, Paul, let's go get ready, sweetheart. Come to your bathroom. Let's get your hair combed.
Are you getting after me, Grandma?
No, I'm not. Okay, Paul, I'm going to show you one more time. When you take it, look it, rub it between your fingers like this. Are you watching? Like this.
You told me to do this.
Well, no, it's better if you use both things, and then you can run it through, see?
And it comes down to the parents. Joanne does a great job. She makes sure that Paul is not gonna just sit idle. I see a very protective mother, and him wanting to like find a girlfriend and have a girlfriend, because we know Paul loves to have girlfriends.
I had my first little black book when I get a girl's phone number. Candace says, I love you. If you do ask me to marry you, I would say yes.
Why did it end?
Grandma didn't want me to stay with her.
Why do you save the letters?
To remember good times we had.
Oh, Paul, put that down for a minute. Get your oil. We have to hurry and give Luzon a blessing.
Oh, I
He's
did.
got to be gone for about 3 or 4 minutes, honey.
Oh, you have to give somebody a blessing?
Uh-huh.
Oh, do you give blessings?
Yes.
He's an elder. This little girl came on to him and started calling him and writing him these love letters, and we need to get married and we need to have babies and you need to buy me presents and stuff. Well, he got all caught up in it. And so, but Paul doesn't understand all that kind of stuff. He really doesn't. We sat and tried to explain to him what it meant to have a girlfriend and get married, and we'd ask him, how would you pay the money for your room or your house or your apartment? Well, I'll get a job. But Paul, you only make like $50 a week.
And it's really hard to see that heartbreak too. It's the cheerleaders that come and talk to him. It's the cheerleaders that say hi to him in the halls, and they think, oh, she likes me, she's saying hi to me, you know. So it's really hard for me as a teacher to, I try to, you know, it's hard to teach relationships, so, but it's part of their life. And you can't tell them, sorry, you can't be in love.
He does not understand cause and effect very well. Now, of course, he knows if he touches the stove, he's going to get burned. But other kinds of complex cause and effect, he simply does not understand that.
He's not thinking rationally. What he's doing is feeling. The feeling part of it. He doesn't understand this emotional thing. You know, he's perfectly happy being the water boy, happy when he has his little job up at this market. He started off as a bag boy, and now he stocks the dairy department. He only works 4 hours a week, but he's happy with that.
We are at farmer's market where I work.
Interestingly, the part of his brain that remembers things, particularly numbers, if you tell him your phone number, and your birthday, he will remember it for eternity. Those kinds of things he remembers forever. But simple little things, if you tell him, you know, at 6 o'clock tonight you need to do something, that may or may not get done.
Everybody knows Paul as the water boy.
Remember my son Jake?
Yeah.
He's on a mission now.
One of his favorite things is to ride his ATV. We're out in the country, and so he gets to ride it. Go around out here.
Paul, it's past 8. Turn that light off. Thank you, sweetheart.
I'm not sleeping now.
Paul, if you don't get to sleep, you will forfeit Thursday night.
Why?
Because you're not going to bed like you're supposed to.
The real issue is the political movement that the radical Islamists represent.
The day's going to come, obviously, that Joanne and Quintin aren't going to be around anymore.
Now he has aunts, uncles, cousins who have all said that they would love to have him. But that's interesting to say now, but when it becomes reality, then we'll decide what actually is going to occur. In our instructions, in our trust and so forth, we have specific instructions about what to do with him. We want him to stay here in the St. George area if at all possible, because he knows so many people, they care for him, they love him, and so we know that whatever happens, the people in this area will take care of him. They'll hunt him down and they'll take care of him.
Yeah!